Tarot del Pulpo and Octopus Films is proud to present to you How to Read the Tarot, Part 2, Lesson 3, The Suit of Swords. Welcome to the show. Today we have a special guest in the show. Poke your head up and say hi to the camera for me. Say hi. Hi world. I'm the crew host Mama. Say something. You can open your mouth and speak, you know. Okay, you're not gonna speak. Oh. She's eating. Today we got the Suit of Swords. Now, swords. You know, spade, sword, dagger. I like the word sword because a sword you can't use for a kitchen knife. You can use a dagger as a kitchen knife. Use a dagger in the kitchen. There's no problem. But you can't use a sword. The origin of the sword, as we know it, is very ancient. It's extremely ancient. In fact, we'll pull up Wikipedia here. And I love Wikipedia. If you don't love Wikipedia, you guys are fools, because Wikipedia will answer all your questions and will let you know everything you need to know about the universe, you know. So, ancient history of swords. Let's see what it says. The sword developed from the dagger with the construction of longer blades became possible from the late 3rd millennium BC in the Middle East. Had to be those guys, didn't it? First in arsenic copper and then in tin bronze. The oldest sword-like weapons are found at Arlentepe, Turkey. Arslantepe, Turkey. And the date of their construction is around 3,300 BC. So we're talking about a very ancient weapon of mass destruction. And specifically, we're talking about a weapon. We're not talking about something, you know, to cut your fish with, or, you know, to make salad with. No, we're talking about a weapon. We're talking about a tool used exclusively for the purpose of killing people. So, you can imagine that in the tarot, the sword is not a very nice thing to pull. There are only 2 cards in the Suit of Swords that are favorable to one, and one is the Ace of Swords, which means victory in battle, and the other one is the 7 of Swords, which is the thief. The thief of hearts, the thief. You know, in ancient times, thieves had to be armed. They had to carry swords and stuff. That's what they used to rob you. They didn't use a gun, they used a sword. So the thief is a thief of swords, because the first thing he needs to steal in order to deal with his profession is a sword. So the element of swords is air, and it's easy to remember because you can cut the air with a sword and it will make a sound. And the vitality of sword is male. It's a male element, representing the penis of the man's penis, and it's a thrusting weapon. It's made to open, you know, holes. God. Anyways, swords. You know, we got 1 out of 4 is not too bad. It's 3 relatively positive elements and 1 that is really not so cool, which is swords. Swords, the element of swords is the realm of the Prince of the Air. If you read your Bible, you'll find out that the Prince of the Air is none other than Lucifer. The Muslims say that the jinn, are made out of smokeless fire, fire types and smoke and stuff. So their element is air. They're air spirits. They live in the air. As an element, air is what we breathe and is what gives us life. And life is a function of vitality, and swords represent the desire for life so intense that you're willing to murder other people or other beings to do it. But they are definitely the tools of murder. If you want to live, you got to kill things. That's kind of the lesson of the deeper lesson of swords. And if you analyze the situation, I've talked to a couple of Buddhist masters here and there that said to me, look man, you can't live without destroying hundreds, millions maybe, of sentient beings. Oh really? I said, what sentient beings? Well, the bacteria in your mouth, the bacteria around your body, the various parasites that try to get into your body, flies, cockroaches, whatever the hell you need to destroy to get your life in order. And you keep destroying them. So the very vitality of life is impregnated with the act of murder. And that's a very terrible thing to consider, but it's the truth. And it's really present in the Suit of Swords.
From the beginning, the Mammut everything.
Yeah, exactly, the mammoths. I mean, we made the mammoth. The mammoth extinct with spears in that case, but the spear had a little tip, and the tip of the spear was the sword. The Aztecs and the Mayans didn't use metal for their swords because they didn't have metallurgy. They had gold. They could have made gold swords and gold knives, but they didn't. They actually made it out of stone, out of jade. But they had knives and swords. Not swords. They had knives. They had stabbing implements. The spears and their maces had little crusts of sharp stone to cut the enemy. Anyways, cutting implement that is used to killing people, not the nicest thing you can pull in the cards, usually signifying trouble, conflict, war, violence, everything disagreeable to human life. A very necessary element in life, but not an element we like to focus on. Thankfully, it's just one of four, so you have less chances of pulling a sword than any other card on the deck. Well, actually, you have the same chances of pulling a sword than any other suits in the deck. You have 1 in 3 of pulling a good thing and not a negative thing. Swords are negative. Except, as I mentioned, for the Ace of Swords. We see a hand coming out of the sky. This is a recurring symbol in these cards. We have a cloudy day, but it's daytime. It's not night, and we have some mountains or hills in the background. We have a crown, some mana. These little droplets of something that is falling. That's mana. That's the sacred food of God that He sent to the Israelites during their long march from Egypt to Judea. And it's mana. It's some kind of food from heaven, which also signifies plentifulness and the bounty of the universe. We got the crown, and the crown has 2 wreaths. One obviously looks like, now that you mention it, I have to check what these 2 wreaths are. One is definitely ivy or laurel, because laurel is a very ancient symbol. The other one, I don't know, looks like a fern of some type. But I'll check into it. I'll get back to you on that. I'm not too sure. I never really thought about it. I just know it's the crown of victory. What does it mean to pull the Ace of Swords? It means victory through battle. It means you have a fight, you have a conflict, you have a dispute, and you are victorious in that dispute at the cost of defeating an adversary. cannot be victorious without defeating the adversary. A very sad thing, because that means that there is an adversary. And in a perfect universe, there are no enemies here. So that's the Ace of Swords. The Two of Swords. I got this whole backgrounds. The Two of Swords. Nighttime. There's a moon out there. It's a smiling moon, they call it. There's a water to cross. There's another island or continent in the back. The lady is sitting on a stone chair with two swords crossing her arms and a bandage over her eyes. I like to think of this card, I call it the card of the two ways, because usually it means a decision has to be taken. You need to take a decision, you need to choose a path. It is a standstill. The lady in this picture is in a standstill. She's sitting with the eyes blind, covered, not sure which of the two swords she needs to go, which way she's going to go, left or right. And she has a water to cross. She needs to get across the water, but she's not sure which she's going to be using, the airplane or the boat, or the submarine maybe. Obviously indecision, not knowing what to do, coming to a very important decision and not really knowing what to do with that decision, being frozen in time by something that is happening which is very complicated and you're not sure how to handle it. That's kind of the meanings of this card. All right? If I have to explain this card to you, you should not be reading cards. All right? Three of Swords, broken heart. Does my husband love me? Three of Swords, I don't think so, ma'am. I think he actually broke your heart. Also betrayal, treason, a broken heart, suffering. If they ask, a very important note on this card, if they ask for health, how's my health, Mr. Brujo? And they pull this card out, 9 out of 10 times, 99 out of 100 I'd say, they got a heart problem. They got to deal with a heart problem. And one after another, I've picked them right off the bat. And I said, look, man, you have a heart problem. You got to go check the doctor and make sure that you get your heart examined. If they ask about their health. Basically, the Three of Swords is heartbreak in all its forms, so it's not very complicated. Four of Swords, one of the good cards in Swords, the Sleeping Warrior. The number 4, represented by a square, 4 sides, is a kind of like a reaffirmation of material consciousness. When you pull 4, the 4 is the events around you that have to do with matter, with substance. The image in the card is actually of a sepulcher in a church. But because we know that the soul is eternal, we know this warrior particularly is not dead. He's only sleeping. He's resting. He's in a moment of rest. So he is a resting warrior. A warrior doing rest, or rest for a warrior. Vacation time, getting laid off for a few days, having a few days off from the work, not having to deal with the problems of the house, letting the family take care of itself for a while and going off into the mountain. All those things are shown in that card. And when I pull that card from my client, what does my husband feel for me? And they got this thing, he's tired. He's needing rest. He needs to rest from you. How's my health? You need rest. Okay? So keep that in mind. Now, we've talked about the number 5 in this tarot deck quite a bit. How it's one of the cards you don't want to pull when you're pulling cards. Welcome to the 5 of Swords. Now this guy, he's a meanie. He's a mean old. Swords are conflict. Swords are battles. Swords are, beating the shit out of your wife or beating the shit out of your kids or shit like that. So, in the 5 of Swords, it just reaffirms the fact that there's a conflict, there's some type of battle going on. The client, which is the big figure over here, is winning the battle at the cost of more than one adversary because he is in some type of, collective battle against more than one adversary. Basically what it's telling the client is, look man, you're a bitch. You're a bastard. You're a no good, mean-spirited, ornery shit. And for people to recognize that in themselves is really hard. So you gotta know how to handle it. You gotta figure out how to tell them they're being an asshole. But that's basically what the card is saying. The card is saying to you, look man, you're really proud. Look at the face in the red-haired guy there, which represents the client. He's smiling, man. He's like, yeah, I fucked you guys over. And he took his swords, and these guys are like, he cut our balls off. So this guy, he's very proud of his fact that he's a bitch, that he's a mean old guy. When your client pulls that card out, you got to remind your client not to be an asshole, and you got to do it nicely so they come back and spend more money with you. All right, 6 of Swords. I like to call this card the Titanic because look at the shore. The shore on this card, you can see the shore over here, is really far away, and this boat's just full of holes, man. What happens if you take a bunch of swords and you blast through the bottom of the boat? You're going to go sink. You're going to sink. And this poor guy, which is the client, he's got his wife and kid over there trying to cross to the shore, and he just knows he's not going to make it. So I like to call this card, the 6 of Swords, the Titanic. You're not going to make it. You're going to go straight downways. You're going to go into the bottom of the ocean, man, and you're going to freeze to death from the iceberg and shit. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can fight against it, but it's just coming to you, and it's going to knock you out. Now we talked about another card that was actually good in this deck. The 7 of Swords is the Thief of Swords. Man, this is a stealthy ass nigga. This guy's just stealing. He's taking them swords, gonna sell them for crack cocaine. Man, this guy's just having a good old time. He knows he got away with it. Getting away with it. Being the bad guy and getting away with it is kind of what it is. 9 out of 10 times when girls ask me about some guy that is really just playing around with them, this is the card you're going to see. This is the Thief of Hearts. Now, the Thief of Hearts, somebody that takes your heart, doesn't give a crap about what you feel. He's playing with you. He's taking something that is not his. Doesn't really love you. Doesn't really not love you. He wants to play with you. It's like a cat playing with a mouse. This card, if somebody's asking, well, who stole my laptop? And they give a name, and I pull this card out, man, you know for a fact that's the guy that took it, because that's the thief. This is the thief. You can see the tense back here, meaning movement, dramatic progress. He's stealing from whoever he can. All right. The jail cell. 8 of Swords is when you're surrounded by bars. Mars. I wish it was Mars. You got here, you're blindfolded, you're tied in. You're not going anywhere. You don't even know what the hell's going on because you can't see. And if you look around, you're going to see a bunch of bars between you and your freedom. Being tied to something, being trapped by something, being corralled, sequestered, kidnapped. You know, that's kind of what you expect out of that card. Never told you that swords were going to be a good deal. And swords are not a good deal there. Nine of Swords. This poor girl is so sad she can't even sleep no more. Depression, sadness, feeling totally out of it, feeling down and out with it, you know. Suffering, lots of suffering. You know, when I pull that card for my clients, I usually tell them, look man, you're going through a depression. You got a clinical condition that needs a medical solution. And if I could prescribe weed, well, that's probably what I would be giving them, because that'll snap you right out of it. But I can't, so I usually tell them to go to their local doctor, Dr. Simi or something, and get some Belai or some sleeping pills or some type of... I just say weed and nothing comes out of the woodworks.
You may say I'm crazy, but where's my weapon? Because if I have my weapon, they don't attack me.
Here's your weapon.
Give me my weapon.
Right, let's show the weapon to the camera. Alright. And you come up just because I said weed, right?
I'm a killer.
I just say weed and you just pop up like...
No. I'll be smoking my weed in a few minutes. I'm just winning me a star in a stupid internet game.
420, man. 420. Anyways.
That's the only hour of the day.
How many 420s are there in the day, Mama?
Every 20 minutes, sweetheart.
Beware the Ides of March. Julius Caesar got betrayed by the Senate. Got stabbed by his own son, Brutus, in the back. Betrayal is the name of the game with the Ten of Swords. Pretty easy. I mean, if you have a client, this is why I love this deck so much. Because you got a client, they're saying, is my husband being loyal to me? Is he cheating on me? Nah, I don't think so, right? You can't lie about it, see? You can't fuck around with the client. You gotta tell them what's going on because they're gonna see it. They're gonna see the sword at the back of this poor person, you know? Betrayal. Alright, that's 1 to 10, the suit of swords. Now we're gonna talk about the swords people. Undoubtedly, if somebody comes at you with a machete, they probably want to fight. Or they're probably getting ready for a fight. Or they're thinking about fighting with you. You cannot avoid that logic. So, any tarot guy that says that the suit of swords are good people, they're strong people, no, they're your adversaries, they're your enemies, they're the people who want to fuck you over. They're the bad people in the deck. Oddly enough, you know, just you gotta say it the way it is. The suit of swords are usually blonde people. They're blondes, Aryans. They represent Aryan people. Aryans are known as warriors. Warriors are generally people that want to make war. So, suit of swords is the Aryan nation's suit, because it's the war suit. And they're not friendly folk. They're folk that want to fuck you over. They want to cut your fracking head off with their machetes. Let's talk about this young lady. Oh man, I love her. She is bad news. She's beautiful, she's young, and she's got a dagger to stick in your balls. Alright. Children, you know, I'm pregnant. Is it going to be a boy or a girl? Girl. And how's she going to be? Oh, she's going to be a meanie, honey. You're going to have to get yourself life insurance. Yeah, she's not this is not a good girl. This is not the girl you want your boy to fall in love with. This is probably a girl that's making sure your husband is being unfaithful to you, and she's just no good. She's beautiful, usually a very beautiful girl, but she's just no good. The most dangerous man on the deck. He's charging to cut your heart out, literally. You do not want to meet this guy in a dark alley. This is the bad guy. It's the guy that you do not want to meet with. He is usually a saboteur. He is usually a very dangerous homicidal maniac. Just not the guy you want to have over for dinner. Just not the right guy. Could also be a random attack. Could also be somebody that comes out of the blue and just says, give me your money or your life, and then you better give them their money. My mother's a bitch, man. My wife is a monster. She's just beating the shit out of me all the time, and Look, there's mothers out there that abuse their children. It's known to happen in the world. Child abuse is no fun, especially when it's a violent type of thing. This mom and pop combination. Sí, claro, pero you heard that. Man, speaking of the devil, when it comes to Colvin, 8 young girls, all of them barely teenagers, wanting to have their hands read. It's a free service I do here. My specialty, yeah, those girls are my specialty. Yeah. Try to guide them to the world of sin and temptation. Anyways, we were talking about this guy. We don't want to waste any more time with this guy. You don't want to meet this guy. He's a bad guy. Oh, we're talking about mothers that hurt their children. Alright? Grandmothers that hurt their grandchildren. Wives that beat their husbands. The bad woman. Followed by, Daddy, Daddy, don't, please, no, Daddy, no, Daddy, no. Did you guys ever see Shining? Greatest movie ever made. This is the perfect example of the daddy in The Shining. Now, Johnny, I really like this hotel, and I want us to stay here forever and ever and ever. Other famous bad dads, Darth Vader. Luke, it's your destiny. Just imagine, the possibilities for this card. How many bad dads are there? How many horror stories can you tell about bad daddies harming their children in a variety of inventive ways? There's a whole section of gonzo porn for bad daddies. Imagine that. So there you go. That's swords for you. The following chapters are going to be staves, which is the last of the 4 suits, and then we're going to do the octopus. We're going to talk about the Octopus Tarot, my own personal tarot, which I made for me and for my clients and stuff. And then after that, we're going to talk about my own personal octopus game. I'll also mention the poker tarot and all the things that I do. But that's it. There's 2 more videos after this, and then that's the end of the show for how to read the tarot. I welcome any questions. I welcome any comments. Bad comments and good comments are all welcome, because you learn through the bad comments, and the good comments are always a good boost for the ego and the self-esteem. You know, that's another thing I always wondered about, is the difference between having a good ego, as an inflated ego, and a good self-esteem. How can you tell which is which? Anyways, readings are $25 US. You can subscribe to my Facebook account, which is Robin Kazmarchak, just as the name. And there's 2 Robin Kazmarchaks. Both are mine, but one of them I read and one of them I don't. So you want to go to the Robin Kazmarchak where I'm wearing a hood, like a Robin Hood. So, because the other one I open once a year, just to check that that I don't miss anybody from that account on the other account. But my day-to-day, where I check my movements daily, is the Robin Kazmarchak account. Now, since we're on the subject of Facebook and swords and war and destruction and death and mayhem, Facebook, Federal Bureau of Investigations, same thing. You cannot avoid the fact that all of these videos, emails, etc., are basically now property of the investigative agencies in the United States, especially if the videos are made around here. Now, that has a bad side to it and it has a good side to it. The bad side to it is that there's no more privacy. Privacy is a thing of the past. How can you have privacy if every corner of the world has cameras around it, and everything you do and say in the internet is eventually going to be tracked by somebody? Privacy is a thing of the past. It's okay. You cannot live without the internet, because all bank transactions, all monetary movements, anything that has to do with buying and selling something goes through the internet. So there you go. It's kind of like impossible not to deal with it, right? So the basic premise there is you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Can the information be used against you? Of course it can. Now ask yourselves, who and why would they use the information against you? The person that would use the information, you have nothing to fear, nothing to hide. The person that would use the information against you is a criminal. So they have to be caught. That's how you have to think of that. I don't know what I was mentioning, but I just go into white tangents and all the shit. But I wanted to show that. This is an eclair. Is that eclairs? This is my friends. A wonderful day, blessed week, blessed month, blessed year.